Yo, what's going on, boys? Welcome back to another video. I know this is a little bit of a different video from our normal ones, but I just wanted to hop on quickly to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving for one. But for two, obviously, we got a lot of fight announcements, as you guys probably have realized. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So for UFC 324, the main event is officially Justin Gaethje vs Paddy Pimblett for the interim belt. Dana White has already said that the winner of this fight is going to be fighting Ilia Topuria. Ilia himself and also Dana White have also reiterated that Ilia is probably not going to be fighting until at the very minimum or at the very earliest in March, but probably even a little bit later than that. So the UFC decided to go with an interim belt and they went with Gaethje vs Paddy. Now, I've talked about this a lot in my live streams alongside with additional videos as well. I really think it should have been Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan, and if Ilia was going to wait out and they had to do an interim belt, fine, but it probably should have been Paddy Pimblett versus Arman Tsarukyan as opposed to Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Not thrilled about that one, but it is what it is. You know, the fight itself could be relatively fun, I guess. But for the co-main event, we have Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. Honestly, I have no complaints here. This is a women's fight, but this is probably the best fight you can possibly put on for women's MMA, and also it's a co-main event, so I really don't have any issues there. Also on the card, we have Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I've been saying this a lot. I think this is a perfect fight, perfect matchmaking for the bantamweight division. I love this fight. Then also on the same card, we have Arnold Allen versus Jean Silva. We heard some rumors about this fight earlier on in the week. We weren't necessarily sure if it was going to be true or wasn't. You know, Arnold Allen himself went on Twitter saying it wasn't true, or it kind of said it wasn't true. It seemed like he said that. It turned out that it is accurate. Amazing fight, absolute banger of a fight there as well at 145. Then we have our boy Waldo Cortez Acosta going up against Derek Lewis. Absolutely love this. If you've been watching some of my live streams, I've talked about this fight a little bit of a potential matchup between these two guys. I thought it made a lot of sense, honestly. And Derek Lewis is one of those guys that if Waldo beats Derek Lewis, and especially if he somehow finishes him, I do think Waldo probably deserves a title shot next, to be completely honest. And as weird as this may sound, Derek Lewis may have the same case. If he beats Waldo Cortez Acosta, especially if he finishes him, don't be surprised if the UFC gives Derek Lewis a title shot in his next fight after that. But regardless of the title implications for that particular fight, the fight itself is going to be a banger, really fun fight, and I'm happy about it. Also on the card, we have Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised about this fight, but I'm not mad at it. The fight itself is very high level, definitely a tremendous fight, but honestly, I did feel as if Umar Nurmagomedov was probably just going to hold out for the winner of Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili and fight the winner of that fight. He's actually being a little bit more active, which is very commendable. And of course, he's going up against Deiveson Figueiredo. This fight itself is going to be a very high-level fight. I'm happy about it. Also, we have Gaethje on the card. Gaethje is a very talented prospect. I talk about him a lot in my videos, so I'm excited about that fight. We also have Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas. In my opinion, also a pretty high level and a pretty good fight as well. So overall, my thoughts on UFC 324, it's not exactly what I wanted. Initially, what I wanted the main event to be was Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. Obviously, we did not get that. Arman Tsarukyan is not even in contention to fight Ilia Topuria next, which is kind of unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I think the UFC kind of salvaged what they could. I think a lot of the other fights in this card are pretty good. The main event, honestly, is a little disappointing, but the rest of the card is good. Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes, Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley, Arnold Allen versus Jean Silva, banger there. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis, Umar versus Deiveson Figueiredo, Gaethje on the card, Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas. There's a lot of really high-level fights on that card. So overall, is it perfect? No, but at the same time, like, I thought it was going to be worse. Initially, when I was hearing the rumors of Gaethje versus Paddy, you know, of being the interim title fight, I was not happy, but I think the UFC kind of did a better job at adding a lot of additional really high-level fights to kind of cushion the blow a little bit, to be completely honest. The main event is not exactly what we want, but yeah, those are my quick thoughts on UFC 324. Now for 325, we only have one fight announcement thus far, and it is the main event. This one is honestly very unfortunate, but it's Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes too. Now, I've heard a lot of rumors that this fight was going to happen, I believe, as early as yesterday, and I was hoping it wasn't true. Turns out that it is accurate, but it's really unfortunate. I mean, there's no way, you know, of getting around that. Nothing against Diego Lopes. He's a great fighter. He's coming off a huge win over Jean Silva in his last fight, but he just fought Alexander Volkanovski, and he got handled. He got beaten pretty handedly, to be completely honest, and Volkanovski's last fight was literally up against Diego Lopez. So I don't really get it. I guess they're really trying to push this Mexican market, although Diego Lopez is not even Mexican, but he acts as if he is Mexican. So that's my only thoughts on why they're booking this fight. There's other guys that definitely should have gotten it over Diego Lopez, whether you talk about Lerone Murphy or Movsar Evloev. Both of those guys have a better claim to the title shot against Volkanovski as compared to Diego Lopez. The UFC obviously decided to go in the direction of Diego, and that's kind of what we have. So those are the fight announcements. Overall, my thoughts on them are, they could be worse. It's not exactly what I wanted. I was kind of hoping and expecting some higher level cards to begin the year with the Paramount deal and the begin of the year in general in 2026. But, that's what we have. And it is what it is, boys. But happy Thanksgiving once again. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. But until the next one, peace out, fellas.